Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special video, our 1000 sub Q&A video. Guys, again, thank you so much for getting me to 1000 subscribers. I really appreciate you all. And without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into this video. It'll be an interesting one. Alright, and so the first question I'm gonna get into is this one from 2W4W Call of the Wild. I just have one question for you. Are you planning on doing more collabs with other creators in the future? And if so, who is your dream collaborator for a future video? Okay, so for this question, yes, I definitely plan on doing more collabs with other creators in the future. I'm always open to that possibility. Right now I'm not seeking anything serious because I'm mainly focusing on growing the channel right now, getting as many videos out there as possible, but as far as my dream collaborator for a future video, I guess I would have to say, one of the bigger ones like Scarecrow, Flinter, Lady, like all of them would be a great option to collab with. But yeah, I think that collabing with Flinter at some point would be pretty cool. He's the person that basically taught me the game because he was making guides like when the game came out. So yeah, I guess I would say a dream collaborator for a future video would have to be Flinter. Edit, I actually have another question. Do you ever plan on making YouTube shorts? So yes, I do plan on making YouTube shorts. I'm still just trying to figure out the format for that right now and wanted to mainly focus again on other things, but I do plan on making YouTube shorts. So thank you so much to W4W for your question. Alright, and the next question that we have up is from Hawkeye Fever 22. Congrats on 1K. Love the vid. Thank you so much, by the way. My question is, what is your favorite trophy that you've killed in Call of the Wild? So I guess this is a little bit of a tough one for me. I guess I'll break it down in terms of favorite great one and favorite just overall trophy. So my favorite great one that I killed in Call of the Wild was probably my Fabled Oak 50/50 Great One Moose. Now, I totally wasn't expecting to get this guy. Like, the Fabled 50/50 rack is pretty rare, so whenever I saw this guy, I absolutely freaked out. I'd have to say it's definitely my favorite great one, so he deserves to be a mention in this question. And as far as my favorite trophy in Call of the Wild, I would 100% have to say that it is my Pale Caper Kaylee. Like, I mean, it's a new one, but I looked for a Pale Caper Kaylee for so long. I think I've been wanting one for maybe 2 or 3 years at this point. So yeah, seeing that guy, I mean, I had a similar reaction to a great one with my Pale Caper Kaylee. So yeah, I'd say that that's my favorite trophy, non-great one trophy that I've killed. So thank you so much, Hawkeye, for your question. Next up, we have a question from Mr. Schrader. Glad to have been around since near the beginning. Thank you so much for being here since the beginning as well. For the Q&A, what is your absolute dream trophy of any species aside from great ones? Okay, so this is a really interesting one. I have a few, and the majority of them are, of course, rares. But I would say that the rare that I'm targeting the most now, my absolute dream trophy, would have to be either a hybrid goldeneye, like the Mohawk variant. I just think it's so cool, and I love rare waterfowl. So that's definitely at the top of the list. And then another absolute dream trophy of mine, which kind of has equal footing with it, would be a super rare piebald blackbuck. I have always wanted one of them. I don't have a piebald blackbuck. I think that their patterns are absolutely fantastic, and I've been wanting one since their reworks. I haven't hunted for them much, just have not been able to stumble across one, so yes, I'd have to say that is one of my absolute dream trophies in this game. And thank you so much, Mr. Schrader, for your question. Next up, we have kind of a little bit of a list of questions from Pittance, which I really appreciate. Thank you so much for your questions, Pittance. So the first question that they ask is, when did you start playing and what made you start playing? So I started playing this game back on its release in 2017. Actually, the funniest thing is that I discovered this game completely by accident. A friend of mine at the time actually purchased the game decided that they didn't really like it. Like, they played it for a little bit and decided they didn't like it and asked me if I wanted to play it because I also had a PlayStation, which is what they got it for. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out and give it a try, because I didn't have many games to play at the time. So I got into the game and I started playing it, and I absolutely fell in love with just kind of like, I don't know, how realistic it seemed at the time, because a while back in the day, like when nobody knew anything about diamonds or how to get them, and diamonds were actually like, you know, not as much of a common occurrence as you see now. Like things were super interesting back then. So yeah, what made me start playing the game was just a completely happy and random accident with a friend of mine giving me the game whenever they decided they didn't want it. The next question, what is a great one that you want, and what fur, rack, etc.? Well, I have a couple of great ones that I want. Most of them are moose. I'm missing the birch fur and the speckled fur for the moose to have a complete collection, and the racks that I would want with them are the big rack and the quad paddle, because again, those are what I'm missing. But as far as me just wanting to have a great one, I'd have to say that the one that I want the most is probably a fabled gray Himalayan tar with the big rack, and I'll put a picture of it up on the screen. I think that this great one looks insane. I've seen a couple of combos in the community posted, and I just think it looks insane. It looks like this old, majestic, just beast of a tar, and I think that it's so cool. I love the tar great one, so yeah, that would probably be the great one that I want the most right now. The next question is, have you done any Great One grinds? Absolutely. I have done multiple Great One grinds, and I have 6 out of the 9 available Great One species right now. Those Great Ones being the pheasant, the moose, the bear, the tar, the red deer, and the fallow deer. So yes, I have done a number of Great One grinds, and I definitely still plan to do more Great One grinds in the future. What is your favorite trophy that you have? As previously mentioned, my favorite trophy that I have is probably my Fabled Oak Great One Moose, and my favorite non-Great One trophy would have to be my Pale Caper Kaylee. And again, thank you so much for your questions. Up next, we have a question from Mad Dogfish. Question for the 1000 sub episode: favorite hunting method, rifle, shoddy, bow. Favorite map, pineapple on pizza. I guess my favorite hunting method is hunting with a bow. Now, I don't do it super often, but there's something about using the bow that just makes the encounters more special. It allows you to get up closer to the animals, so I'd have to say that that's why it's my favorite hunting method. But as far as my most used one, I'm always going to use a rifle because, you know, I value efficiency as well. Favorite map. So my favorite map would have to be Reventuli Coast. Again, it just fits my playstyle super well. I love hunting small game species, and there's like, I don't know, 14 class 1 species on that map, so it's really a paradise for me. You know, the same thing with South Suisse, I love hunting all the small game species there, but Rev just has a different feel to it. It feels like you're always running into something, and it's beautiful. But like, my favorite all-time map would have to be Virhunga, because that's what I learned the game on. And I like to say that Virhunga is kind of like the big game equivalent of Reventuli, with just the amount of animals that you can go out there and find. Pineapple on pizza. You know, this is really controversial, and I don't know if I should answer this question. Yeah, I could handle pineapple on pizza, but I don't prefer it. So thank you so much for your questions. Up next, we have a question from GC Gaming. Q&A, how often do you play the Hunter on a day-to-day basis? Okay, so my day-to-day basis is like, it's completely strewed, and I basically just play the Hunter whenever I feel like it. I am disabled, so I have a lot of free time to actually sit down and play this game. So I guess if I had to put an average to it, I'd say anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day I play this game. Some days there are more, some days there are less. So yeah, I would have to say that it's about 6 to 8 hours every single day on this game. So thank you so much for your question. Up next we have a question from Caden. My Q&A is how to become a successful content creator. Well, Caden, my best advice that I could give you about how to become a successful content creator is really just to, what I think is most important is to consume the content that you are watching, to see what people like, what people dislike, try to educate yourself on what's popular in the community, look up guides on how to really get better at making thumbnails, and look at video guides on how to edit. Like, that's super helpful. And also, I would say that consistency, especially as a newer creator, is the most important. So try to remain as consistent as you possibly can. And the biggest thing, of course, is to just get started. Like, I've been wanting to make content for this game for the longest time, and I probably would have done so way sooner if it wasn't just myself holding myself back from not, I guess just like fear of rejection, or like that it wouldn't be received well or anything. But you never know how successful you're going to be or how much people are going to like your content until you actually just throw yourself in there and do it. So I'd say that the most important thing is to just start. And thank you so much for your question. And up next we have a question from Snoopy. One more Q&A question. Do you hunt in real life? Yes, I am an avid hunter in real life. Now, I haven't been hunting a lot in the recent years, but I have grown up hunting and fishing. You know, my favorite thing to hunt in real life is whitetail, but I've hunted squirrels, hogs. I've even hunted axis deer. I do a lot of fishing, so yes, I am a very outdoorsy person in real life. And there's still a lot of hunting opportunities that I would like to take in real life. Like, I would love to go hunt bigger game like mule deer, elk, pronghorn would be cool, black buck would be cool. So yeah, I do hunt in real life. Thank you so much for your question. Up next we have a question from Crab D1K. Here's my question. What is your favorite moment with Pro XCK playing Call of the Wild? You know, there are a lot of funny moments. There are a lot of funny moments playing with Pro. I'd have to say my favorite overall, like, one moment would have to be whenever I got absolutely just murked by that lion after killing that albino wildebeest, because I mean, that interaction was just insane. Like, you couldn't stage that. Like, it couldn't have been a more funny cinematic moment. So yeah, I think I'm gonna play it now just so that I can get a kick out of it. So I'm gonna play that now. Okay.
That's your chance.
He's at a terrible angle.
He's attentive. Good.
That vital?
Good.
That was vital.
Yeah.
We got him. Oh my
Let's go.
gosh. It is about time.
Oh my god. What in the world? They got it, guys.
And yeah, just I was dying laughing in the moment. Whenever I was going back editing the video, I was dying laughing. We both were dying laughing over it. So yeah, I'd have to say that that's probably my favorite moment playing with Pro XCK. And thank you so much for your question. Up next we have a question from William Wesley. What is your age? So I am 25 years old. That is my age. Yep, and that is pretty cut and dry, so thank you for your question. And now moving over to my Discord questions for my Q&A channel. We've got a question from Dakin. What other games do you play in your free time? Well, I have played a variety of games over the years. So I'd say that the games that I'm playing the most right now would be the Hunter Call of the Wild, but my other favorite games would have to be Project Zomboid. I love Repo and Lethal Company. I played a lot of Icarus, Monster Hunter, like the entire Monster Hunter franchise, like Generations, World, Rise. Got into playing some Wilds as well. I like Helldivers, Battlefield, The Angler, Risk of Rain, Stardew Valley, Minecraft. Like, I play a lot of other games. It's honestly a little bit of a task to name everything that I play, but I'm open to pretty much playing anything that piques my interest. So thank you so much, Dakin, for your question. Up next, we have a question from one of my moderators, my #1 modder. The Hunter Classic video, when? You know, I have thought about making classic content, and I can't give you really a time frame on that. Sorry. I don't know whenever I'm going to play classic because your girl is addicted to Call of the Wild, so at some point, maybe a stream. Maybe I'll do it in a stream first. How about that? And since Seppi asked me a couple more questions, I think I'm going to go ahead and get into those. Most tragic trophy botch, hands down, has to be my level 7, my level 7 melanistic lynx. That thing still pains me to this day because melanistic lynxes are so rare, and it was a level 7. It would have been a gold, but I rushed my shot and I botched it. So yeah, that would have to be my most tragic botch. And then another question again from Zeppi. Favorite Pop-Tart flavor? And we are straying off of the Call of the Wild questions. Okay, but my favorite Pop-Tart flavor, you know, I'm basic. I love me a good warm strawberry Pop-Tart. Like, warm, with a glass of milk. Man. Also that and the cinnamon ones. And I'll pop up a picture, just slowly bring it up into the frame. Yes, the cinnamon ones are just yum. I can't. They're just yum. Like, warm as well, with a glass of milk. Those things absolutely slap. And thank you so much, Seppi, for your questions. Oh, and I guess I missed a question from Seppi, so I'm going to go ahead and include that here. Animal that's most due for a rework. No coyote or jackal, we all know that. Yeah. If you wouldn't have put that, yeah, my answer would have been jackal, because, I mean, look at this face. Look at this face. They look ridiculous. Please, EW, rework this. But besides coyote or jackal, you know, a lot of the old rabbit models, like, they really need to upgrade them. The lions as well. You know, animal that's most due for a rework. My final answer is literally every single animal from Verhunga. I think we need a complete Verhunga rework. Verhunga has been hated for too long. Yep, that's it. And up next we have a couple of questions from Beeble. Any plans on a how-to video for downloading mods? Beeble. Why do you want to know this, huh? I feel like I'm catching you in 4K. Why do you want to know? Why do you want to know how? I guess I'll answer your question with that question. And then the next question from Beeble. When are you going to retire from YouTube? Soon? This is making me want to retire early. Yeah, let me just stay here for a little bit. I just got monetized. Like, please, people. Please. Stop trying to kick me out already. Up next, we have a question from It's Matthew. When do you plan on doing live streams? So yeah, I plan on doing live streams pretty soon. I would have liked to have done them like by the first week of October, but I was in the process of a move and that happened a lot sooner than I expected. I also went on a little bit of a fishing trip. So yeah, those hindered my streaming plans a little bit, and I also have some stuff that I have to get set up on OBS first. So as soon as all of that stuff is done, that's when I plan on starting to do live streams, and I hope that that is going to be like by the 3rd week of October. And then another question from It's Matthew. Do you plan on doing any Great One videos? Yes, I definitely plan on doing Great One videos. I mainly wanted the majority of my content, however, to be very multiplayer and trophy focused, but I do plan on doing Great One videos, especially highlights whenever I get into streaming. I feel like Great One grinding is going to be the majority of my streaming content. So yeah, there will be Great One videos in the future. And thank you so much for your questions. And up next we have a question from Zachy, King of the Mississippi. And of course his His question is Mississippi oriented. When do you get Mississippi whitetail grind set up? I mean, if that is something that you guys are wanting me to do for a stream, I don't have any kind of whitetail grind set up on any map. I wouldn't be opposed to doing it on Mississippi because the terrain there is actually beautiful. It would be great for pictures. So, I mean, guys, let me know in the comments if a great one grind on Mississippi, a whitetail great one grind on Mississippi is something that you might want to see. Up next, we have a question from Just Another Day. I'm curious about what is your least favorite animal to hunt? So my least favorite animal to hunt would probably just have to be like any of the rabbit species. I'd say that maybe whitetail jackrabbit are one of the worst. They're very, very hard to come across on Layton. There's just not a lot of max weight tracks, and I don't find any enjoyment in hunting them. And I'd say that the same goes just for all rabbit species. They're particularly difficult to hunt. But just because they're my least favorite doesn't mean I don't still enjoy going out there and looking for them. I just prefer not to hunt the rabbits. But thank you so much for your question. Up next, we have another question from Schrader. What is the worst animal in the game in your opinion? You know, this one's gonna be very controversial. The worst animal in the game is the white-tailed deer. I'm gonna be the one to say it. And you know why? Because I am such an avid white-tailed deer hunter in real life that I hate how their models look. I hate how their bodies look. I hate how their racks look. Like seeing the mule deer and how amazing and, you know, just like anatomically correct I feel that their bodies look, and how much better their racks look with like the coloration and the details in it. It makes me hate the whitetails so much more, because I want them to have the same justice, I guess, as the mule deer. So yeah, the worst animal in the game, in my opinion, is the white-tailed deer, solely because I hate how they look. And they've already received a couple of reworks and stuff, and they're just still not, they're not done any justice. So yeah, that's the worst animal in the game, in my opinion. Thank you so much for your question. Up next, we have a question from King Crab Gaming. How did you first meet Pro XCK? Well, I guess I first started interacting with him really back in December of 2024. And this was around the time that I started getting back into the Hunter Call of the Wild. I saw that he was doing competitions in his Discord, and I got interested in them. And so I was like, you know what, why not? And actually, he said that whenever I became active in his server and started competing in the competitions and winning, that he thought that I was a modder. So yeah, then I guess I started really interacting with him whenever I told him that I'd like to help him manage the comps. And then we got to know each other a little bit better, and we started playing Angler. And yeah, I'd say that around when we started playing Angler, that's whenever we actually started to become friends. So yeah, that is how I met Pro XCK, was becoming a little bit more active in his Discord and competing in his competitions. Up next, we have a question from Spookfest. If there was one trophy you wish you could go back and record, what would it be? 100%, hands down, my leucistic mallard. And the story of how I got that thing was so crazy. I've been looking for a leucistic mallard ever since I lost all of my save data from back when I played on console, because I got one there and I just thought that they were so cool. I've always wanted to get a leucistic mallard on PC, so to have the recording in general would be really cool because it's one of my dream trophies. But how it happened was I was actually looking at a level 5 beaver on a ski, about to take the shot, and I noticed a mallard that looks a little bit different than the others, so I like quickly pan over to it. And I mean, it's just a leucistic mallard sitting on the water there, and the physical reaction that I had was like nothing else. My reaction was like nothing else. So it would have been such a good reaction to have on camera. Like, I think I freaked out on it more than I did my pale caper. So yeah, if there was one trophy I could go back and record, it would definitely be the leucistic mallard that I got. Up next, we have a question from Herring. Why is it that when I watch YouTubers, there are a million animals literally everywhere, but when I sign on, I see like 10 animals over 2 hours. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. So, Herring, I do think that this mainly just comes down to multiple factors, like maybe it's dependent on your level. I don't know if you're a max level player. I also don't know exactly where you go to hunt or what you hunt or how you target the animals, but I would say that if you want to see the majority of any certain species on a map at any given time, you want to check their drink zones. So let's say, for instance, if you were targeting whitetail deer on Layton, I'm going to pop up a picture of the hotspot map. This is where you would want to go to find the certain species during their drink time, which the time should also be up there. And sometimes zones don't show up, and sometimes zones can just be like disappeared, or animals won't show up to it. And yeah, I'd say that that's basically it. So I'm sorry to hear that you're having trouble with finding things, and I hope that this piece of advice can help you. And thank you so much for your question. Alright, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you all so much for your questions. Now, if you don't see your question answered in this video, I'm so sorry if I didn't get to it, but just know that I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much again for getting me to 1,000 subscribers, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!